Now, I've been interested in gambling for a really long time. My grandfather actually made his living as a train conductor, but he really made his living as a gambler on the trains at night. He would work as a conductor on the trains during the day, but at night he had the late night poker games on his train, which is where he made his real money. Do we have anybody that's a really good poker player here? She pointed to you, sir. Would you like to be one of our assistants? And how about this young lady right here? Are you a good poker player?
Never played.
You've never? Well, that's all right. Come on up. That's fine.
Stop some people.
Can I just play against her then?
Absolutely, you can play against her. Come on up. What I have here is my grandfather's train watch when he was on the train. We're going to let you hold this watch. All right. Okay. Now they said that he didn't win every hand, but every hand that he had to win, he would hold on to this lucky watch, and he would win that hand. Now we've got, I usually do this with small cards, but since we've got a larger group here, I thought it would be easier for these guys to see if we had some bigger cards. So here, could you, you can put the watch down for a minute. Could you shuffle up some cards? You shuffle up the rest of the cards. And why don't you switch and shuffle them again? Good. They shuffled the way you want them? Okay, good. All right, and Jim, right?
Yes.
And what was your name? I didn't catch your name.
Monica.
Monica, very good. All right, Monica, what I want you to do here, you're going to hold on to the watch, okay? Now, since Jim is a poker player, we're going to let him make all the decisions in the game. Now, I know that doesn't sound fair to you, but remember, you're holding the lucky watch, all right? So from the first two cards, which one do you want for yourself, and which one do you want for her?
Well, I'll take the second card.
Take that second card. I'm going to put this one on the table for her. Now, of these two cards, which one would you like for yourself? We'll put the other one back. That one, take that card. I'll put the other one back on the bottom. And why don't you choose another one for yourself?
Top.
The top one? I'll put this one back on the bottom then. And she's a little bit behind, so why don't you pick one for her? That one for her. I'll put this one back on the bottom. And of these two, this one for her. We'll put this one back on the bottom. Okay? And then again for yourself,
Top.
the top one. Put that one on the bottom, and then you'll choose one for her. That one for her, okay? So this one, you're gonna, now you have 4 cards?
Correct.
Why don't you go ahead and look at your cards, and choose which one of these 2 cards gives you the better hand.
That one.
That one right there. Go ahead and take that card. We're gonna give you this one. What did you end up with?
A full house.
A full house, well that is a pretty good hand. Now, you're holding Pappy's watch, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Good, could you open it up? There's a little button on top right here. If you push that button, read what's inscribed inside it. There's something inscribed inside of Pappy's watch. Can you read what that says? No. Open it up just like this.
Oh, I got it.
What does that say?
A straight flush beats a full flush house.
A straight flush beats a full house. I told you, Pappy was a very, very wise man. Thank you very much for your assistance. And thank you, Jim. Now I'd like to tell you guys another story. This is a little bit different kind of a game. It's not so much a card game as it is more of a con game. It's a game called 3-Card Monte. It's where you try and find the red queen as it's mixed with the 2 black aces. Now some of you may have seen the Monte, you may have even played it. If you've played it, then you know that it's not you against the cards, but you against the man who's dealing the game. Which reminds me of one guy in particular. His name was Cleveland Joe. He used to throw money down the south side of Chicago, down on Maxwell Street, before they packed up the old market and moved it over where it's more legitimate now. And I only saw him twice, but I'll always remember it was the guy who played 3-Card Monte with 4 cards. He called his little game of looky-loo, 3 for me and 1 for you. But finding the red queen as it's mixed with 3 black aces is a tough rod to beat, and so of course the payoff is bigger. But it seemed there was always some joker in the audience who would say, "Excuse me, sir, but isn't that game supposed to be played with 3 cards instead of 4? Well, old Joe was always happy to oblige. He says, "Well, you can play it with 4, you can play it with 3. Just keep your eye on the little red queen. Hey, diddle diddle, she's the one in the middle." And he'd do his fancy little shuffle, and he says, "Where's the lady now?" And the people would bet on where they thought the queen was. But you see, it didn't matter which card they chose, because this guy was good. In fact, he was real good. You might even say he was too good. You see, he was cheating. Now, I watched him all afternoon, and I figured out what he was doing. He would wait for somebody to say, "Isn't that game supposed to be played with 3 cards instead of 4? Always happy to oblige. He says, well, you can play it with 4, you can play it with 3. Just keep your eye on the little red queen. Hey, diddle diddle. She's the one in the middle. And when he did his fancy little shuffle, he made a move like this. Did you guys see it the first time I did it? See, that's the switch. That's how it's done. Because after he makes his move like that, it doesn't matter which card you choose, because by that time the queen is no longer in his hand. By that time the queen, is in his coat. So I figured I had this game all busted out. I went home and I gathered up all the cash I could lay my hands on. I went back down to Maxwell Street, and as soon as he started, I snuck into the crowd. I said, hey, wait a minute. Isn't that game supposed to be played with 3 cards instead of 4? Old Joey just looked at me and he smiled. He says, well, you can play it with 4, you can play it with 3. Just keep your eye on the little red queen. Hey, diddle diddle, she's the one in the middle. And he did his fancy little shuffle, and he says, where is the lady now? Well, he made his move, so I made mine. I stepped up to his table, I laid my money down, and I said, the queen is in your coat. Well, old Joey just looked at me and smiled, and I learned 3 things that day. I learned that you never play cards with a man named after a city, that you never try and con a con man, and that a fool and his money are lucky to get together in the first place.